Hello, hi, and welcome to All Our Hearts and Minds. Thank you again for tuning in. We're here to discuss all things that have been on our hearts and minds, the good and the bad, the concerning and uplifting, or just straight talk. We're your hosts, Kimmy, our passionate at heart,
Yeah.
and me, Jeanette, our mind and chronic overthinker. Let's get into it.
Please.
Check up and checking in. How was your week? How have you been?
I'm good. This week was kind of a struggle to get through because March break is here, and I've
Ooh.
just been so excited for this little piece of time off. So to have to get through the week, and I had a few things that I had to do pertaining to the wedding, which was fun. We've actually booked our coordinator as well as the coordinator the day of,
Mhm.
as well as the florist. So it's really, fun and exciting, but there's a lot going on in a week, and I'm just glad it's March break. I'm very glad here in Canada, most kids out here, this is the March break season. So I took the time off, and we have an exciting next week
Mhm.
where I'm not going to have to go to work. It's so brilliant, even if I just don't do nothing, but stay home 1 or 2 days out of the week. It's just lovely to have that idea, of not having to hustle and bustle. But anyway,
Mhm.
long story short, this week was good, but long.
Well, that's a good milestone. I think having a coordinator will make your life a lot easier.
Yes, yes. That's definitely.
So for me, I went to Vancouver for the first time this week.
Yes.
It was
Mhm.
very work focused, so I was kind of in and out pretty quickly, but at least, I did walk around downtown Vancouver, and what I did see, it's definitely worth going again just for leisure. So hopefully I will try and get that
Nice.
another trip in my books and kind of make use of the time that I'm there for to kind of look around more and
Mhm.
explore beautiful British Columbia. Very beautiful place. When you land, I have to say, when you land, or even when you're driving on the highway, what's so gorgeous,
Mhm.
like driving into downtown Vancouver, is you see the mountains around, and
Wow.
they're snow capped. So it's like you see the
Mhm.
mountains, and then you see like the it's like very picturesque because you see like the snow on top of it when you think of snow
Very much.
capped mountains.
Yeah. Wow.
I got a photo when I was taking off. I hate those people who take photos through the window, but I zoomed in. I just made sure I got the on top of the mountain caps with the water surrounding water, and it is
Beautiful. Just beautiful.
gorgeous. So, yes.
Canada is a beautiful
Oh my
place.
gosh, there's
It's
so
a
many
very
places.
beautiful place.
I'm
Like,
ashamed of myself for not like. There's two places I really want, like Vancouver and in British Columbia. There's Burnaby and some places in British Columbia I really want to go to, and then there's also Lake Louise in Alberta. Oh my god, the most
mm,
beautiful water on the
mm-hmm.
planet. Gotta people check
Mm-hmm.
that out. So trying to explore
Mm-hmm.
Canada a little bit more, but yeah,
Yeah.
because of that, my week went by very fast. It's kind of like,
Mm-hmm.
woo, turned my head and it was already Friday. I'm like, damn, I have a lot of work I need to like catch up
Right?
on. But
Right?
such is life. So yeah, that was my week. So it's pretty good. And
Mm-hmm.
now I just want to say, before getting into the headlines, I want to say happy International Women's Month.
Broop, broop. Yes. Yes.
So big up all the ladies out there, no matter
Yes.
what your background, no matter what your class, no
At
matter
all.
what your income, big up yourself.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'd have to say in the past 2 or 3 years, because before we had International Women's Day, and like, yeah, it was a day, and maybe you might see some stuff on the
Right.
news or stuff, but I feel like maybe with social media, it's like it's turned into this huge thing. So it's like, like on the day on the 8th, it was everywhere,
Mm-hmm.
and
Yep.
then even like at my work, they're having all these events, and just on everywhere I'm seeing it. So it's good. It's like getting more traction. People are paying attention to it, and
Yes.
it's pretty cool. I don't know if, like, I do wonder though. It's like good that there's, they say that you should have awareness. Awareness is always important when you're trying to
Of
combat certain
course.
things. But
Yes.
also, I'm a person of action. So
Right.
I
Me
also want
too.
to see. It's great that we're talking about this, but I want these conversations to turn into something actionable.
Yeah, exactly.
Whether it's getting the pay equity, I think the biggest thing now, we live in a communist, sorry, not communist, we live in a capitalist society,
Mm-hmm.
would be the pay equity. That's the biggest
Mm-hmm.
thing. But yeah, we'll discuss further on that. Okay, so just big up yourself, especially black women, because people like to hate on the black woman, but
All the time, all the
we have to big
time.
up our
But this
black
time,
sisters.
Definitely.
Okay,
Kick it
so
off, yes.
headlines: Jussie Smollett, our favorite little our favorite Smollett. Actually, no, my favorite Smollett is Journey, but this guy is giving me some type of entertainment as well.
Yep,
Um,
definitely.
I'm not trying to laugh or bask in his downfall, but the man went wrong and strong. He went wrong
That's
and
what I'm
strong
laughing at. It
all the way through.
has nothing to do with, he's obviously suffering from something that he
Mm-hmm.
hasn't come to terms with yet.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm laughing because you right down with the ship. You right down to the end, to the very end, to the dramatics in the courtroom, to the very end. And
Actually, mm-hmm.
it's just like, wow, bro.
Actually
You
wanted to
really
get into that.
believe this. You
Yeah,
really
so
believe it. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
yeah, I gave the little intro there, but the actual news is that, so as we know, this thing that has spawned now going on 3 years now since that the hoax.
Three
I'm gonna
years.
call it the hoax, but now this has led. This week we found out that he was sentenced to 150 days of jail and 30 months of probation. So
Mm-hmm.
that's just over 4 months, or call it 4.5 months of jail time. And he will owe the city of Chicago a little over $120,000 in
Mm-hmm.
restitution, in addition to a 25K fine. So call it 145
Mm-hmm.
monetary, which is nothing for. I would assume that's not much for him.
Well, who knows
Well,
after 3 years? But yeah.
he hasn't been working, but I feel
Yeah.
like his family, his sister's doing good. Somebody can hook him up. After receiving his sentence, he had an emotional outcry claiming his innocence in the courtroom. And he addressed the judge saying, "Your Honor, I respect you and I respect the jury, but I did not do this, wrong and strong, and I am not suicidal. If anything happens to me when I go in there, I did not do it to myself, and you must all know that." So I guess that's the theatrics you're talking about.
Well, the theatrics, yes, and I feel like the Oscar goes to, like, at this. No, I'm sorry, because you actually have convinced yourself.
Nah,
See,
that's
I
fine.
remember in one episode I had said, "Don't lie to yourself. That's the worst person you could try to lie
Mm-hmm.
to."
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you can lie to the world. I know that sounds horrible, but it's true. You can lie to the world, but don't lie to yourself, because look at what lengths he has convinced himself that this has actually happened. But when you were paying
Mm-hmm.
and putting together the theatrics that was this attack, like, I'm sorry, like, the award goes to, you know what I'm saying? But anyhow, go on with what this. So yeah, and you know what? I think it's fair.
Yeah, I think, you know what, 4 months, because the thing is, and again, I don't think, remember when we talked about it last time when we had the narcissist episode, we were like, I mean, he's a clown, but we don't want him to go to jail, right? We just, we there obviously is going to be some kind of punishment, whether it's a fine or whatever, but honestly, the jail thing would be tough. But we also knew that the Chicago police, because of the accusations, you pretty much tried to make the Chicago police. You, first of all, you wasted their time. That's a big no-no. Second of all, you accused of racism and homophobia. Again, that's bad. Like, what do you call it? That was like libel on their organization. So not
Yeah.
only did you waste their time for like 2 weeks, or I think it was about at least 2 weeks that they did the investigation, 2 to 3 weeks, but and that's that's city money, that's hundreds of thousands of the city's dollars going towards
That's what you're paying for. Mm-hmm. Uh-huh.
and then on top of that you're trying to slander them, which maybe they probably aren't the police, so hey, but still, you did it without receipts. So you made those accusations. If anything, you orchestrated it to make them look bad. So they
Very
were
much
gonna
so.
come down. I was like, damn, like the way they're coming down on him. Like, first of all, I thought they'd make him pay millions, like at least 1 million. So the
Yeah,
money,
I thought
the
so too.
fine
He
was
got
very
off
low.
easy. That's why I'm like, we don't know what his pockets is running right now, because
Yeah,
he's had to deal with this for the last three
yeah.
years.
Uh,
So maybe, $145,000 is,
mhm.
kind of reasonable, seeing that you
Yeah,
did waste the taxpayers' dollar.
yep. And so I think the fine is fine, but the time, even though it's just 4.5 months, I think, I think he was facing 3 years. So the fact that it's 4.5, that's okay. That's like 4.5 and 3, the big difference. But that's still, you're gonna be in jail I feel like a week would be too much. So
Yes,
and
especially for him.
you
You
know
know what
the
I'm saying?
mm-hmm.
Especially for him. But particularly, like, I think it's appropriate to have the jail time because there needs to be more of a
Yeah,
ramification for
that's true.
someone who does something like this. You know what
Yeah,
I mean?
you
Like,
can't
you
get a
can't.
slap on the wrist.
No, and if he did get a slap on the wrist, then what would be said? Oh, his
Mm.
celebrity
Yes, true.
was what got him
Yeah.
$145,000 fine to a celebrity. You know what
Mm.
I'm saying? It makes like the whole judicial system
That's
seem
true.
like very viable.
Okay, yeah, that's a good angle. Yeah, even though
You know?
I'm thinking of it like I feel sorry for him, but in the same breath, I at the end of the day, he dug and
Yeah,
dug.
he ruined himself.
Mm-hmm.
And he ruined himself for his standing ovation in the courtroom.
Sorry.
Okay? I'm sorry. I think, you know, the truth came out, and I don't think that he covered all of his bases. But what I find really compelling is that his family, his siblings, are going hard for him,
Mm-hmm.
and it's like, I have to really ask myself that question: like, could I go this hard when it's slapping me in the face? What's going on?
No, like I could, like you said, I think there's some type of mental
See,
issue.
exactly. And I
Yeah.
would want to support my brother
Mm-hmm.
in getting helps. But
That's the
you need
best
some
way.
helps, bro. You need you
Need
need
some
some helps.
therapy.
Yeah, we need to get you some helps. Okay. So, like, ASAP. So yeah, but well, good
Okay.
luck, Juicy.
Juicy Smollett. Sorry, the damn. Dave
Mm-hmm.
Chappelle ruined that guy's name. Okay, so
Mm-hmm.
next, the real. We all know the show The Real, right? I know you're the one who kind of like I always knew of it, but I never like watched it. But you're the one that
Yeah.
every once in a while I'd watch clips because of you would tell me about just certain things to watch, and they've had some infamous viral clips go around,
Mm-hmm.
and so
Mm-hmm.
there's a rumor, but kind of not just a rumor. It's most likely true based on what I've read that The Real is gonna be canceled, and from the Jasmine brand,
Surprise,
surprise.
surprise.
I'm not, well. We should have known when the big names started exiting. The writing was kind of on the
Yeah,
wall
on the wall, right all over it.
because they've had
Mm-hmm.
some big people come and leave. They've had a lot of
Yup.
controversy. As much as like I don't know how great they were in their heyday, but it debuted in 2013, so that's going on almost 8 years. It's been on,
Yeah,
so that's
yeah.
that's a decent run. But usually daytime television can go on as long. But the thing is, there's so much controversy with the host.
Mm-hmm.
Like the View, there have been issues, but I think with the View, we expect it's kind of that kind of formula where you're supposed to debate and have opinions.
Mm-hmm.
And I know
Yeah.
The Real was supposed to be that, but The Real to me was supposed to be a young, fresh, vibrant version of The View.
Of the
That's
view.
always how I kind of saw it. It was just kind of more
Mm-hmm.
for the culture and stuff like that. So they had Tamar Braxton. That was a big disaster. She came and left. Then there was Tamira
When
Mari.
that dropped,
That I think that was the axe
I
to jump.
left.
When
I
she
was done.
left,
I exited left with Tamara. You see me? I exited left with her.
because if she was leaving and she didn't say anything explicit, but she did hint, because obviously people are going to wonder, she's getting paid pretty decent, and obviously maybe you could say you're tired of it, but I think it was more than that, especially since like Amanda Seales came and left. Like I didn't think Amanda Seales was a good fit, but like Amanda Seales was only there for 6 months before she left, and then not too long after that, Tamara left, and then she did say that she tomorrow is like, okay, well, I've been on the show long enough, I want to try other things. Seals is always Amanda Seals is always a controversial she's character, so she did say there was alleging censorship from the producers, but with her, she's
Well,
a
I
little
think
bit.
with Tamara, I think she's been in the business for a long
Hmm.
time.
Hmm.
She grew up in the business, so I think she kind of has an understanding of how to conduct herself
Yes, of course.
in those different spaces. I do think that she does. And the reason why I exited Left with Tamara
Mm.
is because things were going in a different direction.
Okay.
It started to, at first I was like I would watch it a lot. I would
Yes.
definitely watch the show a lot, and I found it to be interesting, but there was always this core of, I don't know, cattiness
Mm-hmm.
in a very disguised way that didn't seem so real to me on
Mm.
the show. Like they had a little bit of cattiness between them, and it was like, that's interesting. But let's keep it moving.
Mm-hmm.
All of us different women have to learn how to move in these spaces together and get the job done.
Mm-hmm.
And so after, Tamara left, I was like, mm, I'm not feeling it. Something's not honest about this show anymore. You know what I mean? Like that. They also made
Was
it the real to have that more connection to the young folk
yeah.
and just being straight up
I
real
have a
and talk
question.
real about everything that's on the show. But after a while, it didn't feel like that.
I have a question. Was Sherry Shepherd on The View or The Real?
View.
Oh, okay, okay, okay.
Yeah, she
And so
was.
they said with this announcement, so the crew hasn't gotten the official announcement, but I think maybe that's why the rumor is coming out. Maybe the hosts probably got the news, so it's
Mm-hmm.
not official, but it's looking like that's probably going to be the
Yeah,
case.
it's gonna happen. I'm
And it,
surprised that it stayed on this long.
yeah,
To be
and
honest,
it
I am.
came, yeah, because after they've had so much controversy,
Mm-hmm.
so and it was looking like there was rumors that Jeannie Mai was gonna leave as well. So if Jeannie
Yeah,
Mai,
I was feeling that way too because I felt like what Jeannie Mai was trying to do was monopolize off of her pregnancy while on the show,
mm-hmm,
possibly
to
get
get her own
more,
show,
make more money.
mm-hmm,
Because she kind of like she kind of evolved on the show in terms of
yes,
wanting to have children. So there are many people that would want to tune in
for
specifically
her
to see
story.
that journey.
Mm-hmm.
And I think maybe she monopolized off of that, but I don't think that she'll stay. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm telling you right now, Lonnie Love and Adrian, or what is it, Adrian?
Yeah,
Uh,
Adrienne
A-
Bailon.
yeah, I kind of like she's forgettable to me. I'm
Mm-hmm.
sorry, that sounds rude,
Mm-hmm.
but to all her fans, like she seems like a great person,
Mm-hmm.
but
Like she doesn't have her
there's
own
something
identity.
about her that just doesn't rub me the right way, and she's
Mm-hmm.
forgettable to me.
Mm-hmm.
And so, but yeah, so her and Lonnie Love can never hold that show together. And
Mm-hmm.
at this point in time, the original cast is dispersed, so
Yep.
we just need to be done with it. So this
Mm-hmm.
seems right up the alley of what's supposed to
Yeah,
happen.
that's probably what's happening.
I'm sorry.
And also
I thought they would
Nick,
have been done a long time ago. Sorry, I'll be real. Hmm.
and also Nick Cannon's show was canceled along around this. Well, that's official. Nick Cannon's
Yeah.
show, Fox, they're canceling his daytime show, for sure, and that's just after 6 months. But I think we talked about it already on one of our episodes, how they're
Hmm.
saying the show's not doing as good as they thought. But
Hmm.
he spread thin enough, so no skin off his back.
Yeah. Too many children. Hmm.
Okay, and then so there's this big story about Ryan Coogler, and I was sad to see it. So Ryan Coogler, the infamous director of Black Panther, like how could you not know this young man?
Yep.
I'm calling him a young man. He's like my age, but anyway, actually I think
Well,
he's a
in the
little bit.
industry, I think he is kind of
Yeah,
young.
he is for a director.
Yeah.
He is young. Okay, so basically there was footage. He was arrested in a bank earlier this week, and now the audio has come out about like kind of because everybody's like what the fuck, like what the hell, like
Hmm.
why are you guys like him sending a note, like writing a note to be discreet seemed personally seemed pretty reasonable to me. But so according to the 911 call, the employee, so some quotes that I said, she was in shock. So she didn't even admitted that she admitted on the 911 call because the 911 operator asked her, which I feel like the 911 operator was excellent. She was very excellent, and she called out all
Hmm.
the flaws. And I think this bank employee might be about to lose her job. And anyway, she failed to
Lord.
verify, and she says, and it's because it's recorded. I think if this call, obviously they made a call, they're going to record a 911 call, but I mean, because that explicit question was asked, that she failed to verify his information. I think that puts her in a shaky situation in terms of the security of her job. I think if she verified, she would have done everything. Like in terms of her job, I think she would have been safe. But by her not admitting that she didn't verify his ID, it was crazy. But also on the call, she says, "I'm just so shook up. I don't know what he was trying to do." Then the 911 and call operator said
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
she insisted, like, so she was like, just wanted that the customer, with meaning Ryan Coogler, just wanted to be discreet, and he might just, she tried to basically put that to the teller, and she's like, he might, but he just seems weird. She was just saying he's weird. So now the bank of
Well, okay. Mm-hmm.
so the Bank of America has released a statement. Obviously, this guy is like a big Hollywood director, and everybody saw this, so a lot of publicity. So they said the situation should have never happened. However, Bank of America. Oh, this is Ryan Coogler. So he said this is his statement since everything has happened. This situation should have never happened. However, Bank of America worked with me and addressed it to my satisfaction, and we have moved on. So he's pretty cool. And then Bank of America issued an apology. We deeply regret that this incident occurred. It never should have happened, and we apologize to Mr. Coogler. So, what I want to say is, I feel like
Please.
these responses, I don't know if this girl's gonna have a job, because unless he's nice to say, if he said it addressed it to my satisfaction, for me, my satisfaction is that girl would have to be fired. That would be my satisfaction. But maybe he's a little bit nicer, and it was a black woman, so I don't know how it was
And
satisfied.
wasn't she supposedly pregnant?
I have no idea about that,
I,
but
I don't know. I think that might have I heard
yeah,
that too
I
somewhere.
still think I'm like, if I put myself in her shoes, I can't even put my actually I can't put myself in her shoes, but I'm sure bank tellers are trained for these type of situations, and she could have been, her red flag should have been up, because he was wearing glasses and stuff like that. But I think her not checking the ID is where she loses
Mm-hmm.
me. She loses me there.
Right. Well, here's the thing. Here's how I feel about this whole situation.
Mhm.
First, it's very unfortunate
Yes.
that first I would say we live in a time where we can't have our money at our homes. So we have to entrust them to a bank. And when we want to go and get said funds, we should have full access to it.
Yes.
But that wasn't the case for this man.
Hmm.
Right? Now, how he went about it, I have something to say about that. I think there's two faults that went on in this situation and a very much lack of communication. So I
Hmm.
just quickly want to say, when I was in university, I had like a job that I was working at a check cashing place.
Hmm.
And the way I was behind a big plexiglass that's bulletproof, right? And they teach you, different strategies of if somebody comes in and tries to attack. We had a panic button on and all sorts of things. Now, what I must say is that if you wanted to be discreet with your money, you act in accordance with a professional. You would call them up, you would speak to a bank manager, have it prepared, so when you come in, you can come in and get your cash and leave. You came in like, a movie where your face is masked up. This woman is now, and I want to give her some grace here
Wait.
because she hasn't probably.
The mask is fine. It's the glasses that would have thrown it off, because you
Well,
have to wear
in
the
this
mask.
situation, right, knowing that the time that we're in, she probably hasn't had that interaction for a while.
Hmm.
Maybe she, hadn't been in the bank for a while because of all that we're dealing with this pandemic and things being locked down. So maybe now in this situation, she felt threatened just by his appearance of being masked, having the glasses, and now handing her a handwritten note that you look like you took a piece of paper, a back of a receipt, and write down a note that looks really threatening. Like, how many banks do you think were robbed like that?
Hmm.
Where people
Sure.
slide notes like that? So in that position as a woman, it might be very threatening, just the aura of him coming in that way. So I'm gonna give her grace. But here's the thing is that your job has protocols in place. So you should have done so. You should, if you felt uncomfortable, that's why they have the bank manager that they pay more than you. So that's not in your pay grade no more. You need to call the bank manager if you feel threatened or you feel like this is a situation that is beyond your realm or you feel uncomfortable with, you should have reached out. So I feel like on both sides, it was kind of like there was mistakes to be made, but I am going to hold him more accountable. In this day and age, there are people who could be in duress and going into the bank. He could have been, and she didn't do her due diligence. But the fact that he came in with a handwritten note, and I saw the note, and I was like, what? For real? And I'm standing at the teller while you're masked up? I don't even know if it's you. I could feel threatened. And that's why maybe I wouldn't ask you to remove your mask. Maybe I wouldn't be that bold. But there are protocols in place, like I said, like go get the manager. Have them deal with it. Have them confirm the face. But yeah, anyway, I just feel like it was sad to see a black man not just be able to go into the bank and get his money.
Yeah, it was very unfortunate, and I'm trying to put myself in her shoes in terms of like being like, you never know what, and I think it was in LA, and a lot of shit's going down in LA. But I think the ID thing, if she did the ID thing and it was a weird situation from the ID, then I think I could be more forgiving. But I think she did the most, and maybe, girl, if you're under duress, you need to like take a break from work, because we can't be calling the police every time somebody comes in to ask for.
Well, this is true, and that's what the bank manager
which isn't even egregious. I don't think that's an egregious amount, especially in LA. Okay,
that's why you have bank managers. Call them over.
It looks like it's been resolved. So if he's happy,
he seems okay. Yeah, but they have to do a little bit more groveling. Sorry.
Yeah, a little bit, right? But then they said it's addressed. I want to know what satisfaction to me means to him, because satisfaction to me, he might have mercy. He might have grace for her, even though she did the most. He might have grace for her. Me personally, I don't know. I think I'm leaning towards she okay, maybe not fired, but like make her be on like a suspension.
No, she needs to get retrained. We need to retrain this
something.
Okay?
I feel like I'd have a little bit of mercy, especially knowing she's pregnant. But that's
what I heard. I heard that she was pregnant, so maybe that emotion. I don't know. I'm just saying.
Were kicking.
If I were in her situation and somebody slid me a note, can you imagine, Jeanette? You're standing. Just picture yourself standing in the bank doing your job as a teller, and somebody comes up to your till and says, not even. Just slides you a note.
I think body language.
I would be like, oh,
no, that's not enough for me. Body language. I think body language. There's that certain things that she said he's being weird. So maybe that weird vibe she was getting is why she was so threatened. It would definitely have to be an approach. A note alone wouldn't alarm me, but I think the attitude and like if I'm trying to ask questions or certain things, that would then, depending on how you're acting to my questioning, would be then okay.
Or their disposition in the line, like when they're waiting in the line, does he look like he's nervous? Does he look like he's looking around a lot? Like, I mean, yes, but she's hey. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. But he's okay. He's moving on.
Okay. So
he's gonna probably take all his damn money too. He's gonna take damn drop.
If I was him, that's what I do. She can keep her job, but I'm gonna take my money. You guys deal with that however you want to deal with that.
Fine.
Okay, so moving on to music news. So there was a big interview that got released this week, and it was with Miss Nicki Minaj, Onika Maraj, and Joe Budden. And it was Joe Budden's actually a pretty good interviewer. When he does his one-on-one interviews, he's actually pretty good. I'd put him in line. Maybe you won't like this, but I'd put him in line with Charlamagne the God. He's a pretty decent interviewer on one-on-one.
Yeah, I think so. When he's not, sometimes he gets a little passionate. But yeah.
But hey, he knows it's hip hop. He knows what he's dealing with. So I'm assuming when he has that high energy, he knows somebody's matching it. I'd hope. And so, yeah, they had an interview, and a couple of things highlights for me. Where one thing she bigged up Lil Kim, and she said something that she said, a direct quote: "The same way I feel I should have already been on the cover of American Vogue, so should have Lil Kim.
Yeah.
If we are being all the way 1,000, if this is what your magazine represents, influence." Because
Yeah.
when myself or Lil Kim goes on the internet, every day we see our influence. We will see our influence. So I'm not gonna say it's about me only, and not give that woman, obviously Lil Kim, her
Mhm.
dues. So she says
Mhm.
that, which I thought was
Mhm.
that goes with, I think we all know that goes without saying. Another thing is she talks about the pressure to modify her body with surgery. She didn't get
Right.
specific. She mentioned, she admits that she had ass shots, not even the regular BBLs that are going around, which she had ass shots, which is scary. So she said, I can't believe what I like felt so insecure that I went to some random person to put ass shots in my body. And she
Right.
said, she revealed that being around Lil Wayne and all the male rappers, she made her feel self conscious, because she talks about, all they're talking about is big asses, big asses. That's like your idea of a beautiful woman, and that was
Right.
like that's was all she's hearing, and she's hearing that, and she's looking at herself, and unconsciously, even if they weren't directly like, maybe sometimes they would have said something, but you just hear it, and you what's that word when you make something, you self I don't know, you self-impose that opinion onto yourself. So
Right. Right.
unfortunately she did that, and she said, I wish that I wasn't. And every young woman, just how you are, women are trained that way. Unfortunately, we want to be desirable to men. So anything that men are harping on as desirable, and you want
Right.
to be desirable to them, then you are in a vulnerable position to kind
Mhm.
of to fall
Mhm.
for that. But okay. And then that was the second thing. And then the third thing that I found interesting is she talked about trends, and she talked
Yeah.
about something that's very important for her going forward in her career, because
Yeah. Mhm.
she has achieved everything as an artist. Forget a rapper, forget a female, as a
Right.
musical artist
Mhm.
that is very successful. She has achieved
Yes.
everything. And so she says what is important for her is her integrity, her artistic integrity.
Right.
Because, a lot of people, a lot of rappers, whether they're female rappers or male rappers, they're just hopping on the trend. So right now, a lot
Right.
of people were following that Juice World trend with mixing like emo rock with hip hop. That's a big trend. And then
Right.
the trap sound, that's a big trend. And then even like the whole voice thing, that's a whole big trend. So
Yeah.
she
Yeah.
says a viral video that was going around for the interview was where she says, if you are pressured into doing what everybody else is doing just to sell records for 1 week, then who are you? You're going to
Right.
lose your brand. You're who How are we going to be able
Definitely.
to identify
Exactly.
between
Who are
you
you?
and somebody
Any
else?
different than the other? Yeah, you're a cookie cutter
Yeah.
situation going on here. Like,
And then the
you
last
know,
thing that I want to leave
copy and paste.
before I pass
Mhm.
it on to you is she said that she's starting a management company, first for herself to manage her career,
Which
which
is
I
smart.
agree, which is very smart. And
Mhm.
then eventually she does have some artists, but she's not releasing that stuff. So she's going to bring in some artists under that management label. And then she has, we know she has some designer stuff coming out, and then a documentary coming out. So Nikki is ready to work again, and she said she
Yes.
didn't even have a nanny for her son. She's been trying
No,
to
she's
find
taking
a
care of
nanny
her
to
pitney. Yeah.
she's trying to
Yeah.
find one to acclimate him to, but she said she did have a couple that she's trying out, but it hasn't worked out. But I think Nikki's gonna have a big year, and I'm excited.
Me too. Me too, to see what she has to do.
Mm-hmm.
Well, when I saw, because I went and sat down and saw the entire interview,
Okay.
because sometimes it's better to look at the entire interview
Yeah, I
versus
agree.
clips,
It's
just
true.
to see the context. And the few things that I wanted to mention that I liked most about it was she did touch on the cookie cutter. And for me, I think it started with Little Kim, so it was nice that she kind of bigged her up that way.
Mm-hmm.
Um, talking about her being on the cover of magazines and stuff, and it was nice to hear her say that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but they have together collaboratively without really knowing it have set the blueprint, the two of them together.
Yeah.
And so it would be so dope to see them actually work together and do a song together, because I think lyrically, Nicki, you know what you're doing.
Yeah.
And I can see the integrity. I can see the integrity in your work. And I think that regardless of what happens in your career or what happens as a brand, you can hold on tight to that, knowing you do the damn thing. Because you can spit. You can spit, and a lot of your rhymes are dope. So having that integrity, is awesome, and you can see it through her work. There was something else that she was talking a bit about the fashion industry,
Yes. Yep.
and which I found really, interesting for her to talk about, and that she is going to, be coming out with some stuff. I'm glad that she's getting busy and doing things, back to her business savvy mind and using her brand. But she was trying to be a mom,
Yeah, that's
and
fair. Yeah.
let her be the mommy. But now mommy has some ideas that she needs to run with. So I'll be very interested to see in terms of what she will come up with,
Oh,
in
speaking of
terms.
clothes, do you remember she
Yeah,
talked about Kanye, how she had
that too. Yeah.
she reached out to Kanye about some type of collaboration, or she wanted to do this clothes thing, but she called him to kind of, I guess, maybe be a soundboard and maybe think he was interested in doing something together. But then he kind of, and she doesn't say it in a malicious way. She understands. She's like, he pretty much said, I can't, like, for my wife
I
and
have to
whatnot.
reserve that for my wife.
And and she said, I get it, and me personally too, I get it. Like
And
how
she
that
made a
could.
comment right after that, and she said, "It's on some married people stuff. Like
Mhm.
it's and it should be." And
Mhm.
she understands that, seeing
Yeah,
that she's married.
yeah. So there was no ill. She's like, I get it. Yeah.
She understands it 100%. And
Mhm.
even if she wasn't married, I think she can understand and respect him
Mhm.
for reserving that for his wife,
Yeah.
and that was nice to hear. But there is definitely a cookie cutter situation going on.
Oh yeah.
And I want her, I see big things for Nicki, because her talking about managing herself. Just
Mhm.
quickly want to talk about that.
Yeah.
You know what kind of money she's gonna make?
Mhm.
She's getting a larger piece of the pie.
Exactly.
You understand? Because we all know that, you have to pay the hairstylist, the this stylist, you have to pay this manager, and that over your, so you have to do. So there's a lot of people that are
Mhm.
eating off
Yeah.
of you.
Yes.
And so I think it's specific. And you know what? One thing I wanted to mention is how she addressed it with Joe Budden, because he was trying to,
Oh
well,
yeah.
you got big ideas, like you got big ideas. And
Yeah.
and she was like, yeah, actually I want a management company, because he was at first
He was
almost
like
trying to,
surprised. Yeah. He was
yeah,
like,
like it
I'm.
was lame. Like it was
Mhm.
a lame idea for her to be this iconic, I guess,
Mhm.
in his mind, to now want to manage. You want to manage a company? Like, girl, you
Mhm.
need to invest in something else. No, but when she came back to him, like, yeah, I want a management company, and the first person I'm gonna manage
It's
is
myself.
is me. Yeah. So, and I
And
was
then yeah, you could
thinking,
see the look
that's
on
a
his
boss
face.
move. That's a
Yeah.
boss move.
And
And
then it
she
clicked.
addressed it to him like that. Like,
Mhm.
this is a boss move. Do you understand? You don't quite understand. So yeah, no, but she's getting a bigger piece of the pie.
Mhm.
And with that, she could definitely have different avenues and create different revenues of income.
Exactly.
So kudos to you, but there's definitely, I don't know what kind of print those two have made together, but I do think together collaboratively, because in my eyes, I think little Kim, she was at our time, in that space when there was no Nicki Minaj.
Mhm.
She was that trendsetter. She
She,
was that,
she
she
was.
pushed the envelope. I wish she got more on her grind. I wish she was more on her grind, and like kind of opened up different avenues of revenue.
Mhm.
You
But
know,
you know what? But to that point, Nikki also points that out. She's like, and not just for the Lil Kims of the world, but even other rappers, because of that. That she doesn't say it explicitly, but why? she goes, I can understand why a rapper from, before the early 2000s who didn't have as much control or
Yeah.
options to make
Mm-hmm.
more money would look at me or look at other rappers right now, and be angry or be,
Mm-hmm.
not be happy, because it's like, I
Mm-hmm.
did it first. I set the blueprint. She acknowledges that in
Yeah.
general, and you could tell she's talking about Lil Kim as well. But I can
Yeah.
understand with somebody who would be angry that they didn't get their flowers, or they didn't,
Yeah.
they can't, they don't even have money to give their
Mm-hmm.
grandchildren. Like, that they have
Yeah.
money, but they don't have legacy money. They don't have
Right.
money that, like, now
Wealthy.
all rappers now that we
You're
see
not
now,
wealthy.
they have enough money for their great
Right?
grands.
Yeah.
So she does
Mm-hmm.
acknowledge that as well. Unfortunately, the music industry did screw, like, the people like
Yeah,
Lil
it's very
Kim, and
fickle that way. Yeah,
yeah.
definitely.
Mm.
And it was nice that she mentioned that.
Mm.
And I hope that can squash all that beef business between the
Mm.
two of them, because I think that they could really do well together if they were to collaborate.
There
And
might
I
be a
think,
verses. There might be a
well, or
verses.
even a versus, even to be able to do that. Well, Little Kim said she'd do one.
Yeah, and I was surprised. Nicki might have, I think, hinted. She said she didn't say the name, but it was pretty clear that I think she would do. I think maybe if she's going to release another album around that time, she would maybe. I think it's
Mm,
possible, and I
well,
think it'd be
yeah.
good. It'd be good. It'd be
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah, she should hold that in her back pocket for
Mm-hmm.
now. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yes, my girl.
And
Which kind
so
of segues into, yeah,
I was
this
gonna
definitely
say,
does.
you were talking to me about the new video with Dua Lipa and Megan Thee Stallion, talking
Yes, I
about the
was.
blueprint, the rapper or female rapper, blueprint that's been going on. What did you have? What were you gonna call out with that one?
Well, there was a few things, a few different thoughts that came to mind when I saw the video. First
Mm-hmm.
of all, the song was nice.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
It's a
Dua
cute song.
Lipa, I like Dua Lipa. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I think her music from way, way back, even before she really made it
Yeah, she
big,
has some bops.
she does, and I like her work.
Mm-hmm.
You know, however, I thought this song, it was nice. It was, kind of, bubblegum rapish kind of things, and
Mm-hmm.
that's cool. That that blueprint was well into effect.
Mm-hmm.
However, I felt like it was more tasteful than most of the videos I've seen Meg Thee Stallion in, the like, as of late.
Mm-hmm.
And the here's the thing, is that it feels trendy. It feels kind of trendy.
Yeah.
Feels like exactly what Nicki Minaj was kind of saying. Can't jump on everything.
Right.
You can't jump on everything. But it was a good song. The video was, the imagery was kind of,
Yeah, people are
I
okay.
wasn't quite into that.
Yeah, I think they did have a lot of on Twitter there are a lot of people like, "Oh, this is witchcraft and
Yeah, I
satanic and
wasn't into it. Mm-mm. But it
yeah."
was more tastefully done
Mm.
than the last two
Yeah,
videos I've
very
seen Meg Thee
gorgeous
Stallion.
video. Very gorgeous video.
It was more tastefully done, and it almost, you had to. It was alluding to the idea. It wasn't just in your face, I guess, at certain moments.
Mm.
Um, it was more tasteful than the last video that I saw her in, which was Lick with Shantia. And so it
Of
was
the
like,
most annoying song on the planet.
yeah,
Hmm.
yeah, but it definitely did what it needed to do. It
Hmm.
definitely propelled, Shantia into
That's
the
true.
American um, view, and or viewpoint, or whatever, or perspective, or whatever. But anyway, I, I'm feeling like Nikki, that interview kind of, it definitely hit home with Meg The Stallion when
Hmm.
she did say that you can't jump on everything.
Mm.
And sometimes
Mm.
I feel like, Meg, like, can we see something different, girl? You
Mm.
got anything different? Like,
Yeah.
even Nicki Minaj, like, she did, yes, she was very sexual, and and she had her sex appeal and so on. But we got to see different stuff from her.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, she changed it up. Like, I just feel like you don't got nothing else, Meg.
I think Meg actually is very diverse in her talents and what she's doing, but it's not in the music. It is kind of, it's
In
not,
the music.
it's
In the
not
music
very. It could be a
specifically,
little
yeah.
bit more multi-dimensional. So I get what you're saying in terms of the music for sure.
And for me, it's like I like that she could change it up, and
And she could get away with it, like, because
I
honestly,
think so at
we've
this
seen so
point.
many different facets of her. She's obviously multifaceted in her real life and all the endeavors that she's doing, but I think the music can be elevated, and she completely is possible for her. She's like, seems like she is a smart girl. So I think it's just the label, as she needs to kind of step back with the, not step back, or push back on her label with everything they're pushing, like, for pushing her to do, and kind of
Right.
have a clear vision on, in terms of your musical artistry, like
Mhm.
where and what that should be. But I
Mhm.
mean, there are a few themes like female empowerment, obviously that works, everything works. She was always, to me, came across that way.
Mhm.
But yeah, I love the video though. I do love the video.
Yeah, it was nicely done. It was tastefully done.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Okay, so we're gonna move off of that and go into Wha Ah Gwan for real.
Wakwan, for real.
And so this week, earlier this week, Chris Brown on his channel, he had, I don't know if it's his manager or friend, whoever, was playing the audio from his rape accuser,
Mhm.
putting
Yup.
her on blast. She got put on blast.
Please and thanks.
And
Mhm.
so he was earlier, I don't remember when, like it was earlier this year or late last year, he was presented with a $20 million rape lawsuit from, we don't know the woman's name, she's a mystery woman, from her lawyers.
Just the
And
gall.
he faced numerous allegations of assault and was banned from performing in multiple countries as a result. Yikes.
Hmm.
He also had criminal charges dropped, hitting back at accusers with countersuits. So he had
Mhm.
countersuits. So once the countersuits came in, some of those charges were dropped. And
Mhm.
so this woman claimed that he drugged and raped her at a Miami yacht party, and those are the ones that was the accusation, right? So then now he has his receipts where she has text messages where he's showing where
Come
he's,
on.
it says, "Oh, you
Mhm.
had the best. Chris was the best dick she ever had."
Wow. 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 Wow.
Then on the audio, so when I heard the audio, I was like so I was like, "Girl, I know it's Chris Brown, but
Really?
you that
Wagwan
thirsty?
for real around
Wagwan
these
for real."
streets.
So she goes, you hear this very whiny and pathetic voice saying, "You're giving me mixed signals. You're reading my messages and stuff, but you haven't replied to me. So I guess you don't hate me. I just want to see you again. I mean, just answer the phone. You just hung up. Like, just let me know. If you want me to leave you alone, I definitely will. But I really just want to fuck with you again. Bish, you."
This trick, like, honestly, this girl is disgusting. And I have to ask myself the real question: Wagwan for real in these streets? What is happening where women are putting themselves in this type of a situation? Like, really?
You don't know what it is? I mean, don't get me wrong. There's some of these guys do mind fucking
Of
these girls.
course.
So I don't know.
I'm like Trey Songs, which I'm
Oh,
still,
a lot
I
of
have
mercy.
my foot on that neck, sure do.
I'm like 90% sure Trey Songz is guilty.
Yeah, yeah, but I'm gonna keep my foot on that
Yeah, yeah.
because trust and believe. But yes, they are definitely out here. They're out here, and you know what? Here's the thing: is that when a man does, especially in this industry, when you do something like what happened with Chris Brown, even when he was younger,
Yeah.
it's gonna follow
It's
you,
always,
bro.
yeah,
It's
exactly.
gonna follow you, and it's been following you. So they've seen that sometimes backlash, you're very easy to respond and easy to anger at the same time, so they can pull some of these stunts out here in these streets. But this girl was stupid. She was dumb. If this was, I have never ever heard of a victim that's going to contact the rapist.
Mhm.
Never heard of that ever
Mhm.
in my life. If that were true and legit, you would be pressing criminal charges
That
against this
too.
man, and you
Mhm.
would want him in jail immediately in order for yourself to feel safe as a rape victim. right? So for you to go to the police, or not to go to the police, sorry, and rather you want to file a lawsuit and then you want to go text the rapist?
Mm-hmm.
Girl, miss me with the bullshit. This is too much. So what's happening in the streets with these, like, for real? This is what we're doing now?
She
Like,
needs to, now that he's released that, he can, I'm sure he's gonna try, like he's been basically like, this was only huge because it was the whole $20 thing and the story was so egregious, but there was
the 20 million. The
yeah,
20 million.
so
Mm-hmm.
there was like, so he's been fighting back, so he's like, he's not taking it laying down anymore, because obviously that's affecting his money, because people are canceling, like you said, countries are canceling shows, right? So in order for his get his money right, he can't sit down and just be like, well, this isn't enough for him to have this text message. He literally needs to like counter sue or lay
Well, he
charges.
has to make an example of
He
her.
does. He does. I'm
Sorry.
sorry. This was so egregious. Yeah, I wouldn't wrong
He
him for
does.
that.
And he can, there's two examples he's going to set for, or two precedents. One is that women will think twice
Mm-hmm.
before they do this type of nonsense. You understand? And second, not bother with me. Don't do it with me. You understand? Because I will sue you.
Right?
Okay?
Exactly.
And
Yeah.
you, every dime that you earn
You
will
have
be
to set
coming
it
my
up.
way.
You have to set it
So,
up.
and he, I think in this situation, he definitely deserves to, like, walk one for real. Adopt what we adore. And
Mm-hmm.
it's because it's following him. And that's why I led with, when a man, and like Chris Brown, has all this attention and celebrity, and he was very young and made stupid decisions, and it followed him, because why is it that she would do that to him? Like, why not anybody else? Why is it because he has a violent past and it seems believable that you can sue him for $20 million for raping you? Like, really? And then it all turned out to be a lie? You wanted to have sex with him again. So that's very disturbing. And you know what, Chris Brown, keep your head up. And I'm sorry, but you're gonna have to make an example out of this one right here. I'm sorry, you're gonna have to set some record straight so that it doesn't. They'll think twice before they do that again. But it's definitely much. But anyways, moving on, and we're gonna move on into the call
The
outs.
call out.
It's
It's
the
the
call
call
out.
out.
This is where we take turns putting each other in the hot seat, and we ask each other some questions. And so, my question to you, okay, what is one of the greatest risks you have ever made?
Yeah, I actually have I don't know if it was a risk really, but so when I first came out of school, I got a job. It took me a long time to get a job out of university, almost 6 months.
Mm-hmm.
And my first job was for an investment company.
Mm-hmm.
And I went to school for communications and sociology, but in the vein of knowing that I wanted something in communications or marketing, and something in that
Mm-hmm.
area. But after 6 months, I was like, damn, full time job. I'll take anything, right? It
Right? Mm-hmm.
was.
Mm-hmm.
So I was there working for an investment company, and in two twos, I was there like like 3 or 4 years before they did their first massive layoff. And this is
Right.
around the big, we had that big economic disaster in
Yep.
2008. Actually,
Yep.
maybe I was only there 2 years when they did the first layoffs.
Mm-hmm.
Then they did another mass layoff about a year
Mm-hmm.
after, and that's when I really started to think, like, do I want to be here until they lay me off? Like, I've been able to save my ass, but I don't know if you've been in that situation before, where there's layoffs and you're still there. It doesn't feel good. It's like you see these
No.
people, you work with these people, and like the way it happens, it's like honestly, like those, it's like you expect us to work. Like I know those things, they
Right?
happen in the morning and we're still there, and all everybody's doing
Mm-hmm.
is messaging each other or going in the kitchen to talk about all this nonsense. And it's like no work is being done. Let me tell you, everybody listening, managers, when you do layoffs and you have people still there, they are literally just in their shaking in their boots or all messaging or talking to each other about how messed up it is that all this stuff is going on. So yeah, anyway, so then that made me start thinking
Mm-hmm.
like, okay, I'm here. It's almost 5 years I'm here. What am I doing here? I didn't go to school.
Right?
I didn't go to school to work in an investment company. It's fine.
Right?
But I'm making decent money for like a young, for somebody in their mid
Yeah.
20s, but I'm just like I don't want to I didn't sign up for
Right?
this, right? And
Right?
so what I did was I signed up to do a postgraduate program in a college, a Centennial College, and that was pretty much for like I think PR. It was really I wanted to do marketing, but I said the marketing program was 2 years, and I couldn't afford to do 2 years, so I said okay, let me do the corporate communications and PR. So that was one
Right.
year.
Mm-hmm.
So pretty much the risk was literally quitting my job, living off my savings, for about a year,
Right?
and going changing my complete like my experience as 5 years in
Mm-hmm.
investment company, even
Mm-hmm.
though I didn't go to school for banking or business. That's where it was. So that
Right?
was risky. That could have been risky, but the good thing for me was I was still living with at home with my family at the time. So even if I did go for broke, I wouldn't be
Mm-hmm.
out in these
Mm-hmm.
cold streets.
Right?
So even though, but it was risky in terms of like, what if it, I mean, I now looking back, I don't see how it could not have worked out, but it was kind of scary because I remember my last day. I was sad to leave, but
Right.
which I think there was a lot of sadness. But I was like, am I sad because I'm leaving this? I've been here so long, and I'm leaving these people, or am I sad because I don't know what
Routine.
I
Mm-hmm.
don't know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
getting myself into? But anyway, that worked out. But for me, like that came for right away when you asked me a question. That was the first thing that came to me. I'm sure there's other instances, but that came to me first. What about you?
Well, you know what? I'm gonna go same with you, like in terms of my career, and
Mm-hmm.
so, but I will say it's kind of tied. It has a tied position because I said the greatest, right? So I don't want to. It's not the greatest. It's hard
Mm-hmm.
to say the greatest because there's still a lot of life to live.
Yeah. Yep.
But I will say that there's a tied spot. One was going away to university.
Oh
Now,
yeah.
at the time when I went away, right, like everybody that I knew, my whole environment, the people I hung around were all going to stay local.
Mm-hmm.
So for me to go 4.5 hours away from home with not many, like I was leaving my best friend, I was leaving all my family,
Mm-hmm.
all the people that I knew, all the people that I parred with, that was all going to be staying back in Toronto. Well, I went 4 hours away, and it was a risk, but I knew that I was like embracing that risk because
Mm-hmm.
I really wanted to see was what was outside of Toronto, what was outside of just my immediate environment,
Mm-hmm.
and everybody else was staying. So I literally went out there with no friends, and then I found out once I got there that there was a girl that I went to high school with that was next door, like 2 doors down from me.
Mm-hmm.
And so, it was nice to have someone there that was back from home,
Yeah.
but she didn't make it past Christmas.
Oh
So,
Lord.
she ended up going back. She's like,
Mm-hmm.
I can't do it. I'm homesick. I'll
Mm-hmm.
just finish it in Toronto. And she left.
Mm-hmm.
But I stayed, and got to know a new set of friends. And I so it was a big risk. And it's tied with the position of just before the position that I'm in now in my current job title, which I'm not gonna say the firm or the title, but I'm in the legal field. Let's just say that.
Mm-hmm.
And before I got into this position, I was working at a law firm for about 8 years. And I was working my ass off for these people, and it just couldn't get ahead. Like they just fell short of understanding my value to the company, right? Especially since once you've been at a company in like a law firm for more than 5 years,
Mm-hmm.
they see that you're actually committed. Up until that time, you're like, she's gonna come and go. But once you're there for a long period of time and you're invested, you would think they would try to keep you, right? Well, not
Mm-hmm.
this place. So at this point, I have a daughter, and yes, I'm engaged, but I'm supporting my child. I'm a single mom, and so to just leave my job is like,
Yeah,
no, we gotta
scary.
go. Yeah, it's big things because you gotta know that you're gonna go to something
Mm-hmm.
before you walk away from something. And it didn't quite go that way, but God helped me through that whole scenario, that whole situation. And I learned a lot about myself, and I learned a lot about, sometimes you just gotta do it.
Yeah.
You think too hard and you won't. You'll find ways and reasons and excuses why not, And so I just left there because I just felt undervalued, even though I was bringing so much to the plate, and I was making this man money hand over fist. And it
Mm-hmm.
was like, really? So I had to take a big leap of faith and leave. And I'm glad I did. Um, it wasn't the best exit in this situation where I left because there was some tension.
Mm. That's
So
okay.
I kind of, you know, bowed out and left gracefully. And but I'm glad I did. I'm so glad that I did. I'm glad that I took that risk because I've been really happy in my career as of late.
That's good.
I've been really, elevating
Mm-hmm.
in different ways, learning because I love to learn. So learning in everything that I do, and I think the area of law that I'm in is very exciting.
Mm-hmm.
A lot more than just making big corporations more money. It feels fulfilling.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm glad that I took that risk. But risks are scary at times. They definitely are. But anywho, we're gonna ask what's your question then, my friend?
So, with it being International Women's Month, I was gonna ask you, what's your favorite female empowerment song? So, to give you a moment,
Oh,
I will start. There's so many. There are many.
yeah,
But, and maybe I couldn't even think of all of them, but what came to me right away was Who Runs the World? Girls.
right. Who runs
That's a
the
big
world,
one.
girls?
That I think
Who runs the
Beyonce,
world,
between
girls?
Beyonce and Destiny's Child. My first one was gonna be Survivor. I don't know why, but between Beyonce and the group Destiny's Child, they have at least 4 or 5 like female empowerment songs. But
Yeah.
I think this one is quite literally like how you don't get more female empowerment than Who Wins the World, girls.
Well, when you say Beyonce, I immediately think of "I'm a Survivor." Da,
Yes,
da, 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 da.
that was my first choice, but I was like, wait,
I just
no. Mm,
like that was like such an anthem.
mm-hmm.
That was such an anthem. Like Beyonce held that down. Like yeah.
Another
Even to this
one.
day, even if you run that track right now, there will be a lot of noise made about it. Like, you know what I mean? A
Yeah,
lot of people love that
it's a
song. Yeah.
tune, the beat, everything. But another one, an old school one that came to my soul. That's a more modern one. I don't.
Uh
Maybe there's
huh.
even one that's even more up into the times.
Yes.
But there is Aretha Franklin's R.E.S.P.C.T.
Of course, every time, all the time.
all the
Yes,
time.
Aretha. Please and
You
thanks. And
better
she led
put
the
some
way.
respect on
Yes,
my
you
name.
did. You better put some respect on Aretha's name. Yes, she definitely, she was the,
She actually has a few, but
pioneer.
RSP, yeah, the respect is a big one.
She was definitely a pioneer.
Ooh, and okay, one more, and it's a rock song. For me, remember, Much Music was playing a lot of rock music here in Toronto, so I
That's
know a
true.
lot. So, Just a Girl by No Doubt. I'm just a
A girl
girl in the
in the
world.
world.
Yes.
Yes, yes,
Okay, that's it for
yes.
me. That's it for me. You must have something now.
Okay, so I'm feeling like Janet Rhythm Nation type thing.
Okay,
Like
okay,
I
yes.
because I remember the video
What's
and
the name of what's the name of the song? Is it called Nasty? Where she's like, "Don't call me Janet, don't call me baby, call me Janet, Miss Jackson if you're nasty. Is that the song? What's the song? Is that in the video? I think in the beginning of the song or in the video she says that. And I want to remember the song where I think is it called Nasty? It might be called Nasty.
I think it's nasty. I
Yeah,
think it
so
is.
that is another one.
But yeah, like when I think yeah, Beyonce, they did the damn thing. Like they held that down. I'm definitely gonna have to go with Survivor because that's like
Okay, yeah.
something that is definitely
I thought of that, yeah.
also with Beyonce solely. What's the
She has
name of
a
the song? To
few.
the left, to the left.
Yeah, she has
Everything
a. That's what I
all
said.
in the
Between
box to
Beyonce
the
and
left.
this child, they have at least 5 or 6.
Right?
Like, yeah, they're good. They're big on creating the female empowerment anthems.
Definitely, definitely, because that song. It's is it called To the Left? Is that the name of it?
The
Like,
actual
to the left,
song,
to the left,
that's the chorus. You're right. It
in the
is
box to
called
the left.
is it
Yeah.
Changes? No, what's it called?
Replaceable.
Replaceable. There you go. Yeah.
Replaceable. That's right. And how I felt it was empowering is because all women can understand that. It doesn't matter what your race, religion, creed, doesn't matter nothing about that. Every woman can understand when a man has put you to the point where you're like, listen, oh, your box is to the left. Okay, meaning to the hell up out of my house.
Mm-hmm.
Please and thanks. Yeah, and the video was iconic. Like
Mm-hmm.
it was Beyonce's true diva. That was her alter ego coming out right there. What is it? What's her alter ego's name?
Sasha Fierce.
Sasha Fierce, why'd you take the chain off the man's neck? Thank you. Yes, goodbye. Let's just take that coat. She fixes the coat on her arm. Thank you. Wrap that up. you know, it was empowering, definitely. So I would say those songs.
Okay, good
And
choices.
Beyonce's very much she's very much led the way.
Yeah.
She took the torch.
Yes.
She kept the torch and she kept it going. Yes. And so we're going to keep it going into the workout.
The workout.
All right. This is where we work out our hearts and we exercise our mental fitness and we do a deep dive discussion on issues that are impacting our culture in the past few weeks or really just in general. And this is where in this, episode, I would like to maybe go a little different of a direction. And so, what I mean by that is, so the topic is there is a season and a reason letting go of people in your life. And now,
Mm-hmm.
I want to reference where this is now a topic for our workout. And so, there was an interview that was done by Keisha Cole, and it was on One TV Uncensored, and she in the video sorry in the interview, sorry, she did mention that it took her a long time not to put her hands on people. She also talked about how her relationship with Eve kind of dissipated,
Mm-hmm.
and she gave an example of her and Eve going out. They have their entourage or whoever, and their security, and this girl tries to snatched Eve's purse,
Mm-hmm.
and Keisha Cole laid her out, like she slapped her the hell. And Eve was extremely upset about it and didn't. She's like, there's lawsuits to be had. You don't need to be doing all of that. We have people for that. We don't.
Mm-hmm.
So, we see that Keisha Cole was still kind of rough around the edges at the time
Yeah.
of Eve's career just propelling so far forward, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then we see an interview on the same, One TV Uncensored that Eve did. And she talks about that as her career was going on, there were people that she had to kind of let go,
Mm-hmm.
and it's not that there was any bad feelings in certain situations. It's just she was propelling forward.
Mm-hmm.
And the people in her life that were her friends, that she grew up with, that she was so close with, that she did all these things with, um, weren't actually beneficial to her success, right? And I want to say that as a female rapper, Eve has held her own and she has evolved and she's done several different things and she didn't just stay a female rapper, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I do want to give her flowers while she's here, that she did the damn thing too. And unfortunately, she had to let go of some people in her life. And I, we now see that one of those people was Keisha Cole. When we're talking about, for me, a season and a reason, like there are some people that will come into your life, in my perspective, that are either, they're here for a season or they're here definitely for a reason. So they're here to show you something or to help you through something or to, you know, um, be there as a support for you in that situation you might be going through. And then there's people that are there for seasons of your life.
Yeah, I think, or the saying. I think I was trying to think of the saying when we were talking about the topic. I think they have the thing they say: there, a friend is there for a reason, a season, or a lifetime.
Or a lifetime. And so, in this situation, what I wanted to talk about in the workout mostly is when you see the relationship not working, like with Keisha Cole, she still had some growing up to do. You know what I'm saying? But at the time when she was friends with Eve, Eve was growing up. She was in that, she was already doing that. And their friendship wasn't going to work. So she had to let that go. Now, people had said to Eve at one point, "Oh, well, you changed," and Eve is like, "Did I change? Or I thought we were going on the same pace, but did I change or did you? Or did we just grow apart into two different directions?" And sometimes you have to let those people leave your life, or you have to leave theirs. And so I wanted to open up, I guess, more of a discussion of our personal experiences with situations that are such like this. And, Keisha Cole did grow up
Yeah.
and she can see now. And she stopped putting her hands on people because they're coming for your pockets
Yeah.
nowadays. They're not trying to fight you. They're coming for your pocket. You understand? And that's where they're gonna hit you. Um, I did want to mention briefly that I also saw on this same sort of topic an interview that Shakana had done. I forget the platform.
Sukiana.
No, not Sukiana. Shakana, the hairstylist girl. Remember? And she was with the whole Ti situation. Remember Shakana?
Oh no, no, I don't know.
But anyway, she was on an interview and she had said, like, you know, I don't fight. I don't fight because they'll sue you and they'll take you for whatever they can. So if I put my hands on you, it's not just the gratification of punching you, you know what I mean? Or to deal with you, because now you're going to come at me and you're going to come at me hard and hit my pockets. And so, um, back to what I'm saying, she had to learn that. But Eve already kind of surpassed and flew over that. So, as my personal experience in this situation, so when we were in university, there were, some people that I knew that, I became friends with and stuff. And we were out all the damn time. Like, we were out
Kim was a pot
all
girl.
the damn time.
Well, everybody was
Okay?
partying, but you girls were
No, we
partying
were
it up.
hot girls.
You
We
guys
were
were
out.
hot girls. You guys were like not even just partying in Windsor. You guys were up in Detroit.
We were up in Detroit partying, over in Windsor partying, and not just like the typical spots that you might go to, but we were just too hot, too flipping hot, okay? And it was like after a while, okay, so when I graduated and I came back to reality, which is Toronto, it's a rude awakening, let me tell you. When you're away in that independence for so long, you're just living your life to go to school. You understand? And to get that, piece of paper that they want you to have. So you're focused on that. But when you come back home, you now need to take that paper and make it work for you. You understand? And it's a different reality when you come back home that you have to step back into. For some, it's easier than others, you know. For me, it was like, okay, the partying is done. Okay, because I need a job.
Yeah.
I need a job.
I'm in Toronto. I'm in Toronto. The drinks cost like $10, not
You see what I'm
$4.
saying? Oh, to go out is an event because you
Yes.
need a $20 park in. This is $10 for like a little drinks. In Windsor, $10 could get you a lot of alcohol, which was damn ridiculous. Like it can get you a lot of alcohol. But anyways, you're still a student, so you're
Mm,
bouncing back. You
yeah.
understand? And so when I came home, I was like, party done. And yeah, that whole life kind of,
Mm-hmm.
because now I'm trying to what you doing with yourself, like what's the plan, what's the plan, Stan? Like here, where I didn't go necessarily into the field that I have my degree
But
in.
you and your friend, you and your friend. So what happened with you and your friend?
Well, basically, yeah, I guess I went, MIA.
You went yeah. So you said
I
so
did.
you came home. You came home and said the party done, and she came home and said the party continues. Is that it?
Yeah, she pretty much did. She pretty yeah, yeah. We're still bashment all the way, like 100%.
Mm-hmm.
Even when we came back, and it was like I'm trying to figure out life here, right
Mm-hmm.
now. I'm trying to figure out like what's really real right now. You know what I'm saying? Like this lifestyle was great when we were away, but now the reality was hitting me,
Yeah.
and I was like, I need to just not do this
Mm.
anymore,
Mm-mm-mm.
because it felt like we were only working so to go out. Like there was no plan for like real longevity in life. Like it
Okay.
was, oh, it just felt like it was just for right now.
Mm-hmm.
Like you work so that you can get the new top or the new shoes or whatever to go out that weekend, and then do it all again. Get drunk and do it all, or just do whatever. And yeah, it wasn't me anymore.
Okay.
And it just it felt like when I tried to maybe express that, or like I was going in a different direction, she wasn't really about that, because I
Mm-hmm.
think our friendship started in this whole bashment and going out all the time.
And I
And so she
guess.
didn't really understand
Mm-hmm.
more about me, and
Yeah.
not really wanting to do this all the time. Like it's
So
fun while we're away at school, but now reality is hit, bro.
so for in your example, so for your example, I would say so with like the example you shared with Keisha Cole and Eve, I would say that was a friends for a season. That was a season in your life that would you until you grew out of that season.
They were
But
definitely a
for
season.
you, this example, this is sounding like friends for a reason because you were united in partying, and when the party was done for you, there was the friendship kind of fizzled out.
Actually, it didn't fizzle out because I don't think it really existed.
Mm.
Do you know what I'm trying to say? When you're in
Because
that party life,
it was a based
it's
on like
based on an illusion.
yeah, I hear you, I understand that.
It's all an illusion which you're basing it off of.
Mhm.
And not only that, but your friendship is it's not deep.
It's not
There's no
strong,
depth
it's
to it.
built on something
It's
very
built on a
fragile.
party. It's
Yeah.
built on, yeah, I got the rum, you got the chaser. Like,
Hmm.
it's built on, yeah, so I'm going to wear this, that, and the third.
Hmm.
Like, I'm going to the mall to go shopping.
Hmm.
There wasn't any real depth.
Yeah.
And when I came back and reality was hitting me, and I had to make a move in my life and go in a direction, it just seemed like this is not conducive to that. Like this they don't kind of coincide, because you just want me to do the same thing that we were doing as a friend. So I think it was for a season, not necessarily a reason, because I didn't need her friendship to go out.
No, you
You know what
didn't.
I'm
No,
saying?
no,
Like
no,
I was
absolutely
going
not.
out way before I even knew her and
Yeah.
was friends with her.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? And to be quite honest, the first year I barely knew who she was,
Hmm.
because I was doing my own thing. You understand? With my people, with the people that I was friends with and, kicking it with and hanging with. So
Hmm.
it wasn't until like almost third year where it was I started to get more familiar with her and started hanging out with her more, and whatever the case might be. But at the end of it, there was no basis of the friendship
Yeah,
really.
that's true. So,
So she
yeah.
was a season, and I had to let go. And it's
Hmm.
okay. It's
Hmm.
okay, because I wish her well.
Yeah.
I've never not wished her well. There's no like
Yeah. No,
animosity
no
or anger
animosity.
or frustration of any kind. I pray for her and her family, that she's doing awesome during this time, and that I know her daughter's probably really big. You know what I'm saying? And
Mm-hmm.
so I wish the very best for her. But at the time, there was no, I don't think she saw that that was all that she was doing either.
Mm.
Like I thought that it seemed as though this was life for her.
I wasn't gonna change.
No.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if it has or if it hasn't because I exited left.
Did I left? Did I left?
To the left, to
But
the
yeah,
damn
okay.
left.
Well, I was
Mm-hmm.
as you were talking, I was trying to think because it's I've just not so many, but not that I had a lot of friends or I lost a lot of friends, but there's a few examples of moving on, letting people go out of your life. But I
Mm-hmm.
think I'll do the one that was not as difficult. Like the main one that had a
Yep.
but I'm not going to talk about that here.
Mm-hmm.
But
Mm-hmm.
I could say, okay, so friends that you have from when you're very young, they sometimes you have friends from high school, some friends from
Mm-hmm.
elementary school. So I had a group of friends that we were with together. We kind of grew up from elementary school all the way up into university, up until I would say our
Mm-hmm.
early 30s. Up into our early 30s, we were still kind of connected. Maybe we wouldn't talk to each other every day or everything, but if anybody's
Right.
birthday, we'd go get together and stuff like that. So we were still very much connected. And not even
Mm-hmm.
like once in a while. Like I would say, like we were on the phone regularly, as much as people were on the phone at
Mm-hmm.
those times, right? So
Right.
then there was this like a big culmination, an incident, which just revealed so many
Mm-hmm.
things.
Mm-hmm.
There's always underlying, you kind of see things or whatever, and you're
Yep.
like whatever, you're aware because you know the person, you've been around the person so long, but you don't really do
Mm-hmm.
much about it because you've kind of accepted it. But then
Mm-hmm.
there's comes a point where it's like maybe it's just unacceptable.
Right.
And
And that's
so
okay.
and that's
Mm-hmm.
okay. That is
Mm-hmm.
completely okay.
Yep.
So basically, there was an incident where one of the girls betrayed. I wasn't the one betrayed, but one of the girls betrayed another one of my best friends. So best friends
Mm-hmm.
against best friends. So because and it wasn't no,
Awkward.
it was
Uh-huh.
awkward and it was a big ordeal, stressful phone and text
Mm-hmm.
and email and Facebook. It was a whole. It was a
Locks.
piece of drama, you see, and
Mm-mm.
so because and I think there was some issues with mental health as well. I'm not gonna lie, but I think because the lashing out or what she did
Mm-hmm.
to this other person was so it could have been like tragedy, let's say.
Right.
This was like could be like ended in a huge tragedy with this what this person did. So
Right.
out
Mm-hmm.
of and it's not even just out of that other person because like you said you could be
Mm-hmm.
in a ABC, you could be in a what do you call it, BC confrontation or conversation, and
Mm-hmm.
that C person can exit themselves and not be a part of it. But I think
That's right.
because say the B person did something so egregious, like I didn't even know she would be capable of doing that. And again,
Wow.
that's why I brought up the mental illness because I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
this was so out of left field where I was like,
Mm-mm.
is I like I never knew this, but it must be true because this what was done was so. Oh, I can't even. Obviously, I'm not saying exactly what it was, but like it would have
Mm-hmm.
been life altering. Okay, and
Wow.
so because of this, I did not speak to that person, and it was very hard because she herself to all of us, even though she betrayed one of us, to all of us, she
Mm-hmm.
you have the mama bear.
Yep.
So she can
Yep.
everyone it's your birthday, she'll call you, she'll do something for you if you need help, she'll try and help you.
Yeah.
She went out of her way, but I think because she was so giving, how
Yep.
sometimes you
Mm-hmm.
give and you give and you give and then you realize what am I getting in return? Like we're
Right.
we're friends and we love her, but maybe we're not giving as much. I could honestly say maybe she didn't get as much from us that she did for us. And
Right.
and you shouldn't look at those things because if you're giving
Right.
to receive, then are you really giving?
Right. Exactly.
Right? So but because of that, I would say backstabbing that she did to somebody
Yeah.
else. I know, and
Yeah.
in her mind, she probably thought she was well within her right.
Nah, man, I have to look at you sideways,
I
B.
was like, I can't believe
Mm-mm.
you would do, no matter what your feelings, no matter what, like nothing I feel like was worth you doing that, and for that
Right?
reason, I let go of that person.
Mm.
I let go of
Well,
that person. And it's kind of sad because sometimes, so recently, actually, last couple of years, she'll reach out and she'll greet me for my birthday. And it sucks because I'm just like, oh, but like, I think, like you've even said with your situation, it's like, you don't want to get, what are you gonna, there's so much years have gone by.
yeah, it's
It's
yeah.
like, why, you know what I mean? It's like,
Like it gets to a point where year one, year two, you have great intentions.
mm,
Year three, year four, it's like, okay,
mm,
you don't really give a shit. And
you let it
by,
go. You really let it go. I
five,
think,
6, 7 years, it's like, nabara with it.
no,
Because
exactly. Yep, it's
like, and the
gone.
thing is that I wish them the very best.
Hmm.
And maybe my way of going about ending our friendship wasn't acceptable for them. It
Hmm.
could have hurt them.
Yeah,
And I
definitely.
understand that. I
Hmm.
get that. I do. And that's where I'll say I'm wrong.
Hmm.
However, at that time, it was needed.
Hmm.
It was needed because, one thing I'll say is that sometimes God wants to remove you from a situation, but you'll be holding on to the bitter end,
Hmm.
to
I
the very
agree.
fabric of the person,
Yep.
holding on. Like,
Yeah. What are you holding on to? Hmm.
it, God is trying to remove you,
Hmm.
and you need to let that happen
Hmm.
because you don't know what's ahead, and He
Hmm.
does. And
Hmm.
so there's a reason for that person in your life, or there's a season, or there's a lifetime. And there's very few people I feel like you're ever going to come across in your life that are around for a lifetime.
Yeah, it's very
Those are the
few.
people that are your confidants.
Yeah.
They're not associates. They're not people that you're associated to
Hmm.
or just know. They're like in the fabric of who you are.
Hmm.
And so, uh with that being said, like, I'm just going to say one thing about this whole letting go. It's
Hmm.
okay.
It's okay.
It's okay. And let it happen. Let whatever is supposed to happen in your relationship happen organically.
Hmm.
Because when you try to force something, you know, in your situation, I'm looking at you sideways.
Hmm.
Now, if I have to force this, I might be next.
Right, and to me it's like, yeah, yeah, and I agree with you. It's like, and like, after a certain amount of years you've let that go, so what, like, to start it back again, it's like, what, you're just getting
For
back into that
what?
emotion. No, thank
And
you.
and and to go all the way back there from almost 20 something years ago. Really? We're gonna go back there? Because that's where our relationship ended, right?
Hmm.
So first you have to go back in a step in time
Hmm.
and address that issue, and then you can move forward. And at this point, they're different people.
Different people at this point,
We're
yeah.
both different people. So are we even anywhere compatible to have conversation, to be friends or whatever? Who knows? Who knows? But there's a reason why people are not in your life, and you need to be able to just accept that
Hmm.
and move forward.
Hmm.
There's a few people that I wish I could reach out to, that
But
I
like you
kind of,
said, organically, if it could come back
if it
together
organically
organically, yeah,
happened,
yeah, there's
then I
possibility there.
would,
Yeah.
right? And I would address it at that time.
Hmm.
But there was a point in my life where I was very much an extrovert, and then when I was
Yes.
trying to make sense of my life, I slowly introverted myself.
Hmm.
And now I'm a little bit of a, I've come out of my shell
Hmm.
again, and you know I'm a different person than I used to be,
Hmm.
and so that's where I've kind of left them, is where I used to be. They don't
Hmm.
know this person here now,
Hmm.
and I don't know if I want to take the time to have this person right now. If it's meant to be, then God will put you back in my path.
Yeah,
Best
there you
believe.
go. There you go.
Best believe. So, anyhow. But letting go is, sometimes it's in the best interest.
Yeah.
Like we can see with Eve. It wasn't working, girl. You can't be popping people like that, girl. Even though you popping them for me, because she took my bag and stuff, but you can't be popping them because they're coming after me. You're a part of the entourage. They're gonna come after me. And I mean, no, you shouldn't just throw friendship away for money. That's not what I'm saying by any
Hmm.
means. And I don't want that to ever be a takeaway.
Hmm.
But there's sometimes you are propelling forward, and the person that you're friends with is not quite at your speed. They're
Yeah.
not going your direction. They are on a different interstate. They are not they are not in the same continent. They're, you're just not on the page.
Yeah.
Okay, you're on 89 and I'm on 1006. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, we're just not there.
Mm-hmm.
And it's okay, everyone. It's all right. So, with that being said, to leave this on a positive note, trust in yourself and trust in God, because whatever is meant to happen in your life is meant to happen exactly as it happens. So don't ever be afraid to realize there are people who, like the saying goes, there for a season, a reason, or a lifetime.
Mm-hmm.
Trust in yourself. Trust in yourself and know who you are and be confident in that. And with that being said, we do hope that your hearts and minds were activated on this week's show. Whether you lead with your heart or your mind, please stay passionate and thoughtful. We will talk to y'all. Take care, everyone.
Bye-bye.